Yo, the folks, it's your boy Isuma, and today we're going in depth on Crystal Atlan on things you should expect when coming into the game and things you should not expect when coming into the game. Because a lot of people have their reservations about this game because they think it's one way, but it's really not the way they think it is. Because they see anime graphics and they think of the current gacha rampage that Genshin clones are making, but this game is not a Genshin clone in the least. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into this. But first, I want to say this video is from Billy from the user Lightison. Billy is the Chinese version of YouTube, pretty much. They have their own version over there that they use, and this is where we get the content for this game from, for the most part, because we don't have much content on our platform because we don't have the Chinese version or access to the Chinese version, for most of us at least. Some of us do have it, but they don't post videos on YouTube for whatever reason, so you know. I had to go ahead and find this myself to actually screen record it and make this video just so I can get people to see what the large scale combat looks like. This is a 16 versus 16, by the way. The combat scales go from 1v1 to 3v3 to 16 versus 16, and there's also a guild v guild combat system. I don't know exactly what that one looks like. I couldn't find anything on it. It took me a bit to even translate Chinese to get this to pull up, so hopefully you'll be happy with seeing this specifically. It is a very hectic video, by the way, but let's go ahead and jump into what the topic of the video actually is about. So over the last week, I've been pushing out Crystal Atlan to all my people that know me, that like to play MMOs, that have been in groups that I play MMOs with, people that I have had in these groups for years now, played MMOs on console, played MMOs on PC, and they moved to console, stuff like that, just try to get them into this game, and they all shared the same fears that the game is, going to be a gacha hell, it's going to be pay to win hell, it's going to have an energy system because it looks like that type of game. It's a mobile game, so it's going to have an energy system, and they're going to be locked out of grinding, they're going to be time gated. They have all those fears. This is multiple people telling me these things over the last week, so I'm here to dispel a lot of fears because a lot of people don't know what the systems in this game are. Now, I've spoken to a few people that I've played on the Chinese server on the Discord, and I've looked at some videos for people that are on the Chinese server as well, from Billy, of course, and I've gotten more information just from watching those videos and seeing how things run. Now, the first thing we're going to go and talk about, this is not a gacha game. This game does not do gacha when it comes to getting characters. This game does not do gacha when it comes to leveling systems or anything like that. This game is just purely grind RNG. That's all it is. The second thing is, while it is a mobile game, it does use an energy style system. It is not the energy system you're used to when you're playing mobile games where you run out of energy and you can't grind anymore. When you run out of energy in this game uses the energy system that's similar to the Korean fatigue system. They call it energy, but Koreans use the fatigue system when it comes to their game, or as people know it, FTG. If you're an old Dragon Age player, you know what I mean when I say FTG. The fatigue system is a system where during the period of you grinding, you have a bar of energy that's like a certain capacity. As you grind, you use that bar, and that bar gives you your EXP, or bonus EXP and bonus drop rate. When you get to the end of that bar and your fatigue hits 0, you are not getting as much EXP and as much drops as you would get normally for whatever runs you're doing in those dungeons. So your drop rate is lowered, your EXP rate is lowered, and you're just going to be grinding more to get you're just going to be grinding more at a lower rate for everything. So that's what the fatigue system is, or the energy system is in this game. It's not going to stop you from running dungeons the moment you hit 0. You're going to be able to still play the game if you want to. You're just going to be getting a lower rate of EXP and drop rate. So that's going to dispel a lot of fears, hopefully, because that's the biggest thing a lot of people have been asking me, why is it going to have an energy system? That means I have to pay for energy. It's going to be pay to win, blah, blah, blah. And this is the major thing that I'm trying to tell them, because I had to reconfirm this again earlier today on Discord with people that have played on the Chinese version, people that have played the closed beta that they had for PC recently, back in I think it was February or January, one of those months. But yeah. So moving on. One of the other big complaints that people had was, is the game going to be pay to win? Now, the pay to win in this game is different, because it's weird to actually explain this without people being like, what? That doesn't make sense. But hear me out. The PvP is free to play. Completely as free to play as possible up until the guild v guild, because guild v guild is part PvE as well, and so you're going to be using your actual gear for the guild v guild. Now the PvP, you're going to use PvP gear, which is unaffected by spending completely. You're going to be grinding up for PvP gear, and then you're going to be using PvP gear to PvP. There's no way to boost your PvP what is it called? your PvP ranking or PvP farming with the cash shop, as far as we've been told so far. We don't know if any changes of that are going to be made, because, you know, we might get a whole different version of the game itself. And that's what they usually do when they bring these games to global or to the West, what have you. So the game is free to play in a sense for PvP. So if that's something that's been holding you back on thinking about playing this game, that's one thing that could be off your mind right now. PvE, however, has the ability, you can have the ability to pay to win, because there are leaderboards, of course, that you can climb if you want to, and then the cash shop will let you buy things like costumes that give you stats or something like that. As far as I've heard, the costumes that give you stats, as well as pets and things that give you more stats to deal more damage, to climb higher in those leaderboards. So if you are a leaderboard, you know, climber that wants to sweat, then you might have to, you know, throw some cash at the game to climb those leaderboards and be on top. You probably won't be on top of people that actually spend, you know, real money on this game though. So those are the two differences when it comes to the PvE and PvP spending. PvP is not affected at all by spending. And of course you're going to have your costumes, but those costumes, a lot of things you can grind for in the game apparently. From what I was told, it does take time to grind for some of these things, but you can grind for a lot of free costumes and a free pet apparently as the game progresses. So next up, this one has to deal with more of the pay to win side of it. And this is going to be a pretty good thing for a lot of people, because people are going to hear something like, oh my god, this is great news, you know? Well, with the pay to win currency, you can actually buy the pay to win currency with gold that you grind for in game. Yeah, that's going to be a thing. So even if you don't pay to win with your own money, you can essentially grind for gold and then use that to buy the pay to win currency in game using the in-game systems. Now, I don't fully know how that works completely. I did post a video on it recently. It was the currency and trading video. Actually, you can go look it up in my channel. And then there was another video where I explained how you can get characters. Of course, the game will let you get 6 characters to start off with. Characters are not unlockable characters like they would be in like a gacha game or anything. You get these characters, you can just create the character, and then you get to pick a name, and then you level up the character, you pick your class between 2 classes and branch out beyond that, and you level up your character and just keep going from there. There is no gacha element when it comes to getting your characters. So that is one of the biggest fears that people had too. They were tired of the gacha systems. They were tired of having to get multiple characters to finally work out their character to the maximum level they could. No, this is not like that. Now this game will have a lot of min-maxing, especially when it comes to getting your gear. I posted multiple videos of how to get gear and min-maxing your gear when it comes to what it takes to min-max your gear in this game. And trust me, this game is going to be very grind heavy. If you are ready for something like that, then this is definitely a game for you. Once again, this game is going to have PvP like this. The PvP is skillful PvP. You need to aim where you want your weapons to go. Of course, this character specifically is probably a bad example of that, because she is a hulking master. Hitbox is huge, and her attack box is huge as well. Like, all of her attacks take up a very huge range, but she also pays for that with her hitbox being very large as well. So she takes hits in more spaces than other characters would. But she also deals hits in more space than other characters would. So it looks like she has less super armors than other characters. This is a game that relies on you knowing your opponent, as well as knowing how your character is supposed to react when it comes to PvP, especially when it comes to this mass PvP. Because you see this big character just got melted in like what seemed like 2 seconds running into a fight. So like this is a very skillful game. This is not your rock, paper, scissors, oh, this class beats this class, this class beats this class. You have to know how to play this game if you want to PvP, and that's what I love about this game, because this is a game, like I said, this is a game that reminds me of a game I used to play called Dragon Nest, where the PvP was just like this. You had to actually play your class. As I said before, this is going to be a heavily grinding game, so having more characters might benefit you, especially when it comes to grinding out that gold that you're going to be able to grind for. When your fatigue runs out on one character, you're going to be able to grind for more gold with your alt characters. So you're probably going to want to level up alt characters for the ability to grind for more gold, just so you can have more gold, especially when it comes to enhancing, because allegedly enhancing takes a lot of gold. What I've heard from the people that have played on the Chinese version as well as played in the beta, enhancing takes a lot of gold, so you're going to be scraping for gold in every place that you need to, for PvE especially. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I mean, you can just grit your character, level it up to max level, and then hop in an arena and fight the rest of your days away, for real. That if you want to do it, that's how you can do it. Aside from leveling your character, you are not forced to PvE after leveling your character if you want to PvP. There is no tiring gear grind for PvE to get your PvP gear so you can finally stand a chance in PvP. All your PvP gear will be rewarded through PvP. Now, this class change chart was made by a guy named Sentiment on Discord. Shout out to him for this. He let me go ahead and use this for the video. Now, this class change chart shows the classes that we're going to get for the beginning of the game when it comes to global. We're going to get 5 classes, which are going to be the base class on top. Swordsman, Fighter, Magister, Musketeer, and Puppeteer. Now, level 15, you do get to go ahead and choose a alt class, which is your subclass. Your subclass can be one of two classes, and you get to switch back and forth between those subclasses up until level 45, where you would have to pick a permanent class going forward. So you get to test out both sides of the class until level 45. So you can be a Magic Blade or a Berserker as a swordsman. Under a fighter, you can be a Cloud Strider or a Starbreaker. Under Magister, you can be Elementalist, Warlock, or Magician, which I feel like that's going to show that like each class is going to have a third class coming soon, maybe. I know the Musketeer is going to have a third class coming soon because I've seen video of her already. The Musketeer is going to be Gunner or Bounty Hunter, and the Puppeteer is going to be Scytheguard or Blaze Maiden. And then we do have more classes coming as well, because we do see the classes on the Chinese version. We've seen the this class, of course, that's playing right now, which is the Inventor, which is her class is Rhapsodia with a subclass. Funny. If you know, you know. And then we have an Assassin as well that's coming later on, or rather, I think the Assassin comes before the Inventor. I'm not really sure right now, but there is also an Assassin class that's coming as well. So those are things to also keep an eye on. These are just going to be some of the classes that are in the game, but these are the ones that are going to be in the game currently when the game launches. So hopefully with all the information I've just shoved in your ear, hopefully this video has probably shifted your mind from not playing Crystal Atlan to playing Crystal Atlan, just because of the changes, or rather the things that are in the game that don't force you to do certain things like other games out there. But yeah, hopefully this video has been very informative to you, and you make a decision to play Crystal Atlan based off of this. Once again, there are going to be PlayStation servers, which are going to be standalone servers. The PlayStation servers are by themselves. There's no crossplay. And there's going to be PC and mobile servers. So that's what the server status is going to be. You can't switch to PC and mobile when you're on PlayStation. You're just going to be playing PlayStation the entire time. Unless they make a change in the future, that's where you're stuck playing. So if you pre-register for mobile and you think you're going to get your pre-registers on PlayStation, you probably won't. You're going to have to play on mobile or PC if you want to do the pre-register for PC and mobile on that. PlayStation does have a pre-order pack, of course. I've already posted a pre-order. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully this video is useful to you and gives you more information about Crystal Atlan, and hopefully makes you make the decision to play the game, because I hope this game succeeds on PlayStation, just because the PvP looks like it's going to be really good. And it's going to be a change of pace for a lot of people when it comes to, you know, PvP games, because we haven't had a really good PvP game in a while. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's been forever, and peace out.